is quite something. Cool. Okay. You're going to be so underwhelmed by this. I'm literally just going to say hello and hand over to Holly. So my name's Emma. I'm here from the Masterclass team. And first of all, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much, all of you, for coming and giving up your time for these amazing masterclasses this afternoon. So as you know, these masterclasses are part of our Thrive Street event that we're running for 5 days here in Manchester. We have this afternoon of masterclasses today, and then tomorrow we'll officially open our pop-up high street, which will be in the Arndale Centre, right outside Next. It will give small businesses the opportunity to sell their stuff in obviously a really, really busy area, hopefully a really busy weekend, completely for free. Will be opened by Mary Portis, which we're really excited about. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be an amazing few days. So we're really grateful for everyone's support. Just a little bit about Mastercard's Strive UK programme. So it's our programme to support small businesses to help them to grow and be more resilient. And essentially we offer training, advice, mentoring and skills. And that can be anything from, help setting up a social media strategy to access to a board of directors for 12 months. So there's a huge range of support. We work with 3 incredible partners to offer that support. So Be the Business, Digital Boost and Enterprise Nation. So I really would encourage you, if you don't know too much about Strive, please do visit our website and register and have a look at the different kinds of support. It can be anything, if you have 10 minutes to spare or if you'd like a longer term relationship with somebody, there's plenty on offer. So we have an amazing host here today called Holly Moore. There is a really great story behind this because Holly actually met a colleague of mine at a Mastercard event in New York. And my colleague put us in touch, and here we are today. She's incredible. She has an amazing story which she's going to tell you all about. So she's going to compare this afternoon and take you through it. Before that, I just wanted to say a few more thank yous. So at Mastercard, we obviously work with lots of banks around the UK, and they're extremely important partners and customers to us. So in no particular order, I just want to say thank you to all of our partners who are here helping out today, either running masterclasses or here for the networking later. So we have Lloyds, Tide, Metrobank, Starling, Santander and Virgin Money. And honestly, we are so incredibly grateful for all of your support. We really appreciate it. And we know that it's going to be incredibly useful for all the businesses here today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to our amazing host, Holly, and thanks again.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to sunny Manchester. So who do we have in the audience? Who does have their own business here or is self-employed? So hopefully you're going to get some good snippets. And even if you don't, the content today is amazing. I've got my notebook ready to take lots of notes today. So so I'm Holly Moore. I hate that word, but I am an entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute in the events industry. And yes, I met Mastercard in New York, sounds very bougie, and I will tell you about that at the end. So in March 2023, I ran the UK's first ever 12-hour, 360 experience for personal development. I am passionate that personal development and learning should be open to everybody of every age. And it's an industry that I've followed around the world for years. So in March, we had in Manchester, has anyone read the book Manifest with Roxy Nafousi? Yep, so she was our keynote speaker. We had Jake Humphreys and Damien Hughes from the High Performance podcast, as well as many other speakers, Barry's Bootcamp with the headline sponsor. It was a full day and we started the day getting 250 people to set a big goal. And then we looked at what are all the things that stop us achieving our dreams and our goals. And they typically are consistency, limiting beliefs, being kind to yourself, so allowing yourself to follow your dreams, a lack of money, your age, I'm too young, I'm too old, And then we even tackled grief, because you can be as set up as you want to achieve all your goals, and grief can come in so many forms. And it can be the grief that we all expect, which might be an elder parent or family member passing away, or it can be unexpected grief. And that can be in an unexpected death, or grief can be that you're hit with a serious illness, or you lose your leg, or something like that. And they're things you can't control. So what happens when the worst happens? How do we still fulfill our dreams? In the afternoon, and that's why I call it a 360-degree experience, people could break off and they could go and speak to people about their relationship, starting a business, midlife, fitness, sleep, journaling, organisational skills and time management skills. And then at the end of the day, we all came back together with Roxy Nafusi and did a 90-minute manifest workshop. So getting 250 guests in the room for something that had no proof of concept at £200 a ticket was pretty punchy. But I put it on my vision board, I wrote it down, and no joke at all, I was saying to Emma before, we've probably had 200 individual pieces of feedback of people that have achieved their dreams, started businesses, left their relationships. So sorry, but that's what happened. So it was a really life-changing day. So how did I have the confidence to basically do that when it hadn't been done before? Well, it's not my first video, because I set up an events company back in 2012, so over 10 years ago, from my dining room table. My first client is now the 93rd richest man in Britain, Fred Doan of Betfred. I've worked with Kylie Minogue, Gary Barlow, Peter Andre, Alfie Boe, Michael Ball, Ronan Keating, Sophie Ellis-Bextor, to name a few. So we create employee engagement and customer engagement events for some of the UK's biggest brands. So Kellogg's, MyProtein, Nestle, Vimto, Lucozade, Puma, Represent, Co-op, ITV and Twitter, to name a few. So we work with the UK's biggest names, and it was literally started at my dining room table, which is still in our office where we have lunch every day, with no investment, no borrowing, and sorry boys, female founded. And who knew that's a diverse business when you're female founded? But I just was a girl with a dream, believing that I could work hard and be nice. But of course, in 2020, I nearly lost everything. But I kept the business going. I kept people in jobs. I kept our offices, because I firmly believed we were going to survive. I took the loans because they were the best kind of borrowing. I'm sure the banks will agree that it was probably going to be available for a while, but we never touched them. So I'm really proud to say that we got through one of the worst hit industries, lost so much money, and this year had our biggest year yet. But not just satisfied with that, in the pandemic, I realised that the first things were going to come back were private parties. So parties for those like wealthy clients that wanted a garden party, etc. And since then, we've done parties for, I know I am name dropping, guys, but you know, it's just to get your attention. But we've done parties for Vernon Kay, Denise Van Outen, Dr. Ranj, Gethin Jones, and the CEO of Team GB. In addition to that, I launched a podcast in September 2022 under the title of Anything is Possible. One of our guests has been Jo Wicks. I don't know if any of you know the late Jacqueline Gold, who sadly just passed away, that was the founder of Ann Summers. She was my first guest, so that's a really poignant episode. But Anything is Possible is about inspiring you to believe anything is possible for you at any age. And our guests range from the age of 18 to 80. So while doing all this, and I will use figures because I think it just helps people to put it in perspective. If you think that I literally started with nothing 11 years ago, Make Events is now a £5 million business. And all of this happens in Wilmslow, in Cheshire, at the House of Make. So this is our offices. We're bucking the trend of working from home. So our team love being in the office. We do 1, maybe 2 days flexi if they want it, but they rarely take it. Like, they absolutely love working in the office, don't you, Dolly? Yeah. And, you know, so I feel like I am perfectly placed to be your host for small businesses today as a small business expert. But reeling all of that off, you might think I had loads of contacts, and lots of money behind me, when the absolute opposite is true. So how did I start? So on the 1st of January 2010, I was suffering with severe OCD. OCD is not about cleaning. It is one of the most debilitating mental illnesses. It consists of terrifying thoughts that are in complete opposition to your true values and personality, and I passionately believe are responsible for a percentage of unexplained suicide. So I lived with this for 5 years, and on the 1st of January 2010, just wasn't sure I could live with myself anymore, and I picked up the phone to the Priory. At that point, I had pioneering treatment, exposure therapy, CBT, mindfulness, meditation, and I worked harder than any university degree. And in January 2011, 6 years later, I became OCD and medication free. It did make me realise that I'd lived with a low level of anxiety all my life. I never wanted to leave my hometown, so I never went to university, didn't take promotions, and sat firmly in the comfy chair. And we all know nothing good happens there. So once in recovery, I genuinely believe that I rewired my brain, and it made me think if I can do that, anything is possible, because I was told I would never fully recover. And the thing is that once you've achieved a goal and you've taken a risk, your self-esteem builds, so you're a little bit braver, and then you're a little bit braver, and then the risk gets a little bit bigger. And so it's those constant moves over the last decade that have allowed me to push through my latest achievement, which was anything is possible. So that sounds like that might have come easy, but bear in mind the event was on the 25th of March. On the 1st of January, I'd sold 24 tickets. I didn't have a headline sponsor. I really thought about cancelling, but I thought, how can I say anything is possible except for selling anything is possible? So I reread the book, Manifest, by Roxy Nafusi, and I did a vision board that was literally from the 1st of January to the 25th of March, and I vowed to myself I would complete everything on it and she would sign it on the day after we had been on the same stage. Don't look too close, it's embarrassing things on as well. So I hope that this inspires you, that your future and the future of your business and the way that you spend your time is in your hands. It's over to you. You know, in 2012, I had nothing. My first year, I earned 18 grand. I'm not an influencer. I haven't got a big following. I am relatable. I am just like you. So I have been doing it for a decade. And what are my top tips that I wish I'd known then, I guess. So if you've got your own business, or even if you think about you as if those that aren't, you know, haven't got their own business, like think about this within your career and the business that you're working for. Why are you different and what is your point? So when I set up Make Events in 2012, there were plenty of female, you know, events agencies out there. So why was anybody going to choose me over and above somebody else? And that's something you really need to think about, because why are you going to get somebody to change alliances and move over to you? Don't be afraid to change mentors. Now, what Mastercard do is just amazing, because even the first year when I was earning 18K, I was paying £80 an hour for a coach. So the fact that you can access all of this, like, you know, and it's free of charge. I mean, I've been on there like looking, but I haven't got that much time to do all the amazing stuff that you offer. But if I'd known about that when I'd started, I would have just soaked everything up. And I think the brilliant thing about what they do is that, you know, so I've had different mentors and coaches for stages that I've. But there's so much in there that, you know, for whatever you have a need for, I would see that as like your personal like coaching system. So yeah, don't be afraid to change what you do, but obviously make sure that you look what they do within theirs. So this was a great piece of advice. Now, I am known for getting my sayings wrong, but turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. So I remember a mentor that I had back when I first started said that obviously for you business owners out there, you know, you probably pay yourself in dividends. A lot of people, you know, look at the profit of their business based on the dividends without taking their salary. What I did right from the beginning was, obviously my salary was taken in dividends, but the accountant would, for the purpose of the monthly P&L, would rewrite my dividends into the salary line. So when we were looking at the operating profit, it was actually realistic to what we were doing. And he always said to me, if that business can't pay you a decent salary, what's the point of doing it? And I've always taken a decent salary. I've never, you know, from day one, because why? Unless you do something that's changing the world, like why would you, you know, not? You know, and that means that people can look back over 10 years of accounts with me and see that if I wasn't in the business, I could afford to have another me in there. So don't be obsessed with personal brand. Like, everybody at the moment seems to want to have a personal brand. And I'm just like, listen, you don't have a personal brand until you've got a story, and that doesn't really matter what age you are. You might be 10, you might be 100, but don't try and force it and create one, because I feel like it took me 5 years into the business to actually feel like, oh, maybe I'm okay now, maybe actually, I'm not too uncool, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't actually speak about mental health till 5 years ago, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to have a relapse, and I wanted my story to be genuine. So I just don't think be obsessed with it. It will come and you'll find your niche. It's like I'm trying to get into TikTok at the moment, and someone said to me, oh, why don't you just talk about money and like, oh, and you buy this and you buy that? And I was like, because you'll get loads of followers. And I was like, yeah, but that's not me. It's got to be authentic. So I seriously, don't get obsessed with it at all. It's not worth it. This is a brilliant piece of advice I had many years ago. So your customer's truth is your truth. So we all know what we're like. When a customer complains, we're like, oh. But actually, it doesn't really matter if you disagree with them, because that's what they think, and that's what they're telling everybody else, and they're your marketing tool. So when that happens, you just have to sit there and go, right, okay, but that is how they're feeling. So am I bothered about changing their perception? Do I want to learn about them, why they think that or not? But just bear in mind that as much as you think you're right, they think they're right. And it's actually something I've applied to real life, which is, over the years, there's a couple of friends that I've maybe distanced from, or we've fallen out. And I've always thought to myself, as much as I think I'm right in this situation, you do. So we're never going to agree, we're in the middle. And I think that was a really, really helpful piece of advice. So be patient, it does take time. As I said before, Make Events had flatlined for about 3 years at the same kind of turnover, and I had a huge growth this year. So, don't think, I just think be patient. I'm 11 years into it now, and I'm still as excited and motivated as ever. I am a huge believer in goal setting. I believe if you write something down, it's like having a tattoo in your brain. I have to do it. And I do a vision board every 3 months, because I feel like, well, what happened with the pandemic, obviously you never know what's around the corner. So I like to have really short, clear goals, and for a short period of time, they feel more achievable. That doesn't need any explanation, but we all know that we stay in toxic situations for too long, whether it's clients, stakeholders, or whatever that might be. And don't scrimp on talent. I think everyone knows this one too. When you start a business, you all literally want like the cheapest, because you don't want to spend the money. But I think looking back, I'd have rather have got someone that was double the wage but did half the time, or one less person and pay more, because just the more I've brought talent into the business, it just transforms the business. And that's actually what's happened for us this year, because we brought in a non-exec director. I know that's probably not very PC, but it's a bit like a relationship that you're trying to get out of and you don't want to be cruel. And I've done this so many times. There's so many people that I've kept in their jobs longer because I haven't wanted to, I don't want to upset them. And I am really soft at times, but I think about their families and stuff like that. And then as you get a little bit long in the tooth and everything, it's, you're actually not being fair on them, because if you don't think they're doing a good job, they can feel it. And so, you've had those members of the team that they made one mistake and now they're making more because they're trying to please you and they know you, and all that kind of thing. So just say, listen, this could be done in the fairest and nicest way, but I can't tell you the amount of people that I've probably kept 3 to 12 months too long, and then I've paid them off, which has cost more money because I've felt really bad, when really I could have just cut it off and they would have been happier as well. So I don't mean that in a mean way, but you know what I mean. Okay, so this is what Emma mentioned before. So Create and Cultivate, if you don't follow them, please follow them on Instagram. The founder has got a really similar story to me, actually, and does a series of amazing business events across America, and it was on my bucket list to go. I hadn't really paid much attention, no offence, at Mastercard with the headline sponsor, because I just had followed Create and Cultivate for so long, and it was a life goal to go. So in October, I went to New York. It was amazing. Does anyone watch Selling Sunset? So Emma was the keynote speaker, so I was literally obsessed. Anyway, so at that event, Nikki from Mastercard was one of the speakers, and she had an English accent. And one bit of advice I'd always say is I always ask a question at an event, because you get noticed. So she obviously spotted my accent, got talking to her, stalked her for a bit when I got back on LinkedIn. which I highly recommend. And then she introduced me to Emma. But it's just, so this went on my vision board that I mentioned before, that I would work with Mastercard in some way. So who, like, you know, if you said this to me 12 months ago, I'm sat on a stage here in New York with Mastercard on the stage, and here I am today. So yeah, I just think you should put your goals into the universe and put yourself where your goals are. There's so many things that I'm happy to talk to anyone after where I've paid to go to things, to meet people, and made sure I'm, you know, somewhere where that person's going to be. And I'm always dead honest about it as well. And it really does pay off. So if anybody wants any inspiration with that, please ask me after. And now just a little video from the Anything is Possible podcast to inspire you that anything is possible for you at any age.
If you go to House to Make, the first thing you see in big letters is anything is possible. What does that phrase mean to you?
It is part of our brand story because we have started a business from scratch, from a dining room table. We've never had any investment, any borrowing, any credit cards, any debt. We are hoping to bring Anything is Possible as a new brand, which is going to include motivational conferences and coaching and speaking. And so I think all of us just pictured Anything is Possible on a stage somewhere in the future when we've survived COVID. And I've absolutely no doubt that we will.
One day he just died out of, you know, you talking to him, and the next day he's not there anymore.
I had a 60-year-old love affair with my wife, and she was told that she's got a brain tumour. It still hurts.
My dad was rushed to hospital and had had a stroke.
He was never going to have a long life, and you know, he survived for 8 months.
I lost my leg instantly, and I just remember thinking, I'm going to die.
Looking back, it really stopped me pushing myself over the years.
Family, relationships, work, you think I'm tied into this, I can't change, I've got a mortgage, I can't change career. Sometimes people get stuck in limiting beliefs and, you know, experiences that of failure that hold you back.
And then you have this devil angel going, you don't deserve to be here, you shouldn't be here. And then you have somebody on the other side going, yeah, but you should be. And you're fighting constantly. And it's been a battle which I've had for forever, really.
There's fear, there's ego, there's worry, there's tiredness, there's setbacks, there's people's opinions. Like, there's about 20 negative things that would happen that would make you not want to do it. But through that pain and through that journey, there could be something really amazing at the end.
There's nothing that should ever stop you, especially age. If I don't feel old, I'm not old.
I am so ambitious and so optimistic about the future.
I started businesses at age 45, even now 50. I just started a new business at 50, and it's exciting because it keeps you alive, keeps you young.
1 hour changed my life. Gave up my job, sold the car, put the house on personal guarantee.
Write down what makes you happy. Write down what you want for yourself. And if you can find an inch of possibility or hope for yourself, you honestly will live the best life you can.
I've got this lovely quote that I use, you might have heard, that my dad said to me once when I was a teenager. And it's that if you're going to miss the bus, miss it running. Whatever you do in life, even if you think you might miss it, you've got to give it a chance. You've got to give it 100%. You've got to go. You've got to run for it, right? Run for the bus. And even if you miss it, you can say, well, at least I had a go. I would never have got it if I walked, but I ran for it. And so I apply that principle to everything.
It's great to see people who want to come out of their comfort zone, like you have, and do something which you know is both empowering for you, but also educative for other people.
What does Anything is Possible mean to you?
It means that your dreams can come true. Honestly, dream it, but dream it big.
You have the ability to literally be anything you want to be.
I don't wait until I'm skinny enough or I'm rich enough. I don't wait for anything.
We don't remind ourselves enough of what we've achieved in our lives and what we're actually really capable of.
There's nothing out there that I can't try. At least try. Everyone should at least give a solid, good effort on anything that they want to try.
You just got to have that self-belief that no matter what happens, you will do it.
You could literally do anything you want if you're willing to try and put the effort in. Just take it one day at a time and believe in yourself a little bit.
So no matter where you come from, what you do, if you believe in yourself, AIP.
Overcoming OCD is not impossible.
Yeah.
Okay? It might take a little bit of time, but with the right effort, the right help, you can achieve that.
I have to thank you on behalf of me, but also on from my family. Like, you did genuinely save my life. What would you do if you knew anything was possible for you? My name is Holly Moore, and I started an events company 10 years ago from scratch at my dining room table. And over the next few hours, I'm going to show you why anything truly is possible for you.